Hello, hello, hello. I am back and I am going to attempt to try this again. How are you guys? I hope everyone is doing well. We are getting ready to get Miss Lou Sierra on, and I am so excited to be chatting with her today. It's the one and the only Miss Lou Sierra. My name is Nick Blaze, and I'm so excited to be chatting with you guys and to be talking with her again. So let's see. Yes, there we go. And now we have life. I can share. You look amazing. You look amazing, Lou. How's everything going? Can you hear me okay?
Can you see me now?
I can see you have on a
I
beautiful hat. You look beautiful, so I can see you. I can see you. So I'm so
yes,
excited. Thank you so much for bearing with us as we
yes,
got
thank
technical
you,
difficulties
Father. Thank you.
underway. You are fabulous as always. It is so, so great to chat with you. And so we already have, the crazy thing is we just got started, right? And we already have tons of comments in the chat where people just want to hear from you. I'm seeing comments anywhere from, is she still taking appointments in New York City? Can I get a hold of her? So lots of people are ready to hear from you. So for those of you who are just joining me, my name is Nick Blaze, and I am so happy to be back again interviewing the amazing Lou Sierra. I'm with Beauty Queens Galore, the pageant resource. When I'm not wearing my pageant hat as a coach, as a mom of a competitor, as a director, I actually work in public health at the CDC as a lead human capital advisor. It's near and dear to my heart, so I'm always happy to share any kind of public health insight if anyone ever wants to know. But today, it's not about me. It's about this amazing woman we have here with us, the incredible Lou Sierra. We're talking an icon. She is a supermodel, choreographer, runway and pageant coach, and so much more. The last time we chatted, we talked all about Lou and got a chance to get to know her, hear about her journey, her career, and today we're going to be talking all things pageantry. Particularly, we'll be chatting about the Miss Universe, who just held their competition in El Salvador. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Lou, are you ready to dive into this conversation?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So first things first, there were so many amazing competitors, right? We had
Wow.
history being made, right? Right? History was absolutely being made. So my first question to you is, did all your favorites make it in?
No, all of my favorites never make it in. That wouldn't be humanly possible. Um, and I can't say a girl is truly my favorite because I don't sit in interview.
Mhm,
I can't say
absolutely.
someone's my favorite if they don't command a conversation, if they sound kind of silly or can be browbeaten or intimidated. You're not one of my favorites
Yeah,
because you can walk or switch your hips. That doesn't make, I still don't
love
get
that.
people not understanding. There are
Love
30 to
that.
40 fabulous walking. What does that have to do with anything? She
I
doesn't do New
love
York Fashion Week to bring money to the organization. She speaks.
that.
So because I
Mhm.
don't sit in interview, I have girls I worked with who I love. Oh my God. One particular one touched a place in my heart that very few people have ever touched. One of the sweetest, most kind, but I don't know all of the girls, like I say, when they're in interview. So no, all my favorite didn't make the top.
Well, I love that. So let's sink our teeth into some because you gave a whole lot of stuff, right? So let's dive in a little bit more. You mentioned in terms of anyone can walk, you have a lot of girls who are not anyone, I should say, but a lot of girls who are great walkers. You get to that pageant and where you might have stood out in your state or country competition as one of the best walkers, so that the other girls and so that the other women that are competing. And interview is all about what the organization stands for. You have to speak, you have to meet people, talk to sponsors. what would you say about a young lady who feels like she has the full package, but she still doesn't bubble up to the top? She feels like she interviews well. She feels like she's a great walker, but for some reason, time and time again, she's not bubbling up to the top. What are your thoughts
I,
on girls who
I
feel that
first
way?
I would first ask her, is she being genuine? Um, such and such wore a gold dress, so that's what I wore, even though silver is my favorite. My coach told me to always repeat the question back. And I can tell them, what interview in real life have you ever gone in and repeated every question back? People would think you were crazy. If I looked at you and said, being African American, do you want Martin Luther King birthday off? And you come back to me and say, because I'm African American, do I want Martin Luther King birthday off? They like
Yeah.
crazy. Yet people think in
Yeah.
interview they should repeat back a question. And all that
Yeah.
time repeating back a question, I could have asked 3 more questions and gotten to know them better. Yeah. So I
Absolutely.
asked her, is she being true to herself? You know, the question we get the most, and I'm sure you get it, how do I stand out?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Being yourself.
Other people is not a good way to stand out. But
Right,
being
because you
true to
become one
yourself,
of.
there's only
Yeah.
one you. There is
Mhm.
only one you. Next,
Absolutely.
in interview, are you listening and engaging and approachable and relatable, or are you sitting here thinking, okay, how can I bring that answer back to me? Because everything got to come back to me. And what does the organization like? What would the that man, he's an athlete. He likes girls with big hips. Let me say something. And that woman,
Or scoping out, or the girls who scope out the judges, they want to scope them out so they can, and it's so much. I think there's so much. And a lot of women, as they're interviewing, I'll sometimes get the question, and I wonder if you do as well, is this interview different than a job interview? Should I be different because it's pageant? And I'm like, what? Talk about yourself. This is an opportunity for you. So when you're prepping someone for interview, especially at the level of Miss Universe, what what's the one consistent, because everyone is different, right? We all know they're all different, but what's the one consistent thing you believe everyone should embody when interviewing for that dream job of winning Miss Universe?
you broke up. What is the
Oh,
one thing?
what's the one thing, regardless of who you are, the one consistent thing you believe a young lady or woman has to embody to really shine in interview?
There isn't one thing. Because if you're intelligent, but you're cold,
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to work. If you're funny, but not intelligent, that's not going to work. If you're a good listener, but you can't talk, that's not going to work. If you're talking and not really listening, that's not going to work. So I wouldn't say there's one thing. And if I had to, it would go back to what we've already said, just being
Yeah.
yourself, because there's only one you. There's only,
Yeah.
you know how you feel about strawberry ice cream. You don't have to think, would they like me to like strawberry ice cream? I don't know.
Exactly.
You know, it's way too much. But the girls
Authenticity.
I notice that do well are so engaging, not silly. Let me give you an
Mm-hmm.
example. A girl was once, if you could change anything in the world, what would you change? She said, if you meant something about the world, I wish there'd be no need to have any more volunteers. There would be so many volunteers in the world, we wouldn't feel pressured to beg people. But since that's not going to happen, to change the size of my feet. Oh, that's not going to happen either. But please don't look at the size of my feet when I walk out today. And when they told her time was up, she got up and said, thank you very much. I'll see you all on the runway tomorrow. And as I said, Don't y'all look at the size of my feet when I walk out of here. Serious. Olivia Coppola, honestly, they said, what is the most difficult thing so far? And she said, walking in high heels. And they said, but you're a beauty pageant contestant. You're going to have to walk in high heels. She said, I know. Every day I've had on sandals. Every day I've worn sandals. I know I have to wear heels for events, but I love my sandals. I'm known for my sandals. And when she tripped, if you go back and see, she tripped on her final walk and interview. She looked at the judges and with her eyes, she said, see, I told y'all I can't walk in heels. And all the judges laughed and went, it's okay. It was
relatable. She was relatable.
There you go.
She was relatable. She was. So we had lots of questions in the chat.
Okay.
And so many questions that I wanted to get to as well. So guys, I promise you, I will try to get to every single question because there's a lot of them. One thing I'd like to ask that's also in the chat as we're talking about all things universe, Miss Universe, the age change. What was your thoughts when it was announced that age limits are completely removed when it comes to competing for Miss Universe in USA?
I wondered why. I'm definitely not opposed. One of my biggest clienteles is the Mrs. America. And I wondered why we don't do a separate pageant of Mrs. Universe or Ms. She's over the age of 30. And I don't have an answer because I'm not in the mind of the owner. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just curious. And the reason I'm curious, if I were judging a 24-year-old and a 44-year-old who has gone to college, now owns her own business, franchising, and the 24-year-old is just graduating with a nice job as an intern, a very nice one. Who's more of a boss lady? How do I judge them? I am always thinking of the girls. There will never be a time I'm not thinking of the ladies. And in order to help them, I have to make sure they are what the job needs. Okay. And if the job needs a leader, how do I compare a 45? Because as far as body, there's some fierce 45-year-olds, ladies.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm looking right at one that's fierce right now. Well, I'm looking right at one that's fierce right now. You can give someone a run for their money, so definitely
I work on it. Yeah, so I think it's great. I think every woman should have an opportunity to wear a crown. I was just curious as to why not do a separate pageant. And again, it's not bad. Please, ladies, don't say I said it was bad. I'm curious. I don't have an answer. I'm not in the mind of the owner.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's always the why, when it comes to change. And speaking of change, the organization has adopted lots of changes in terms of not just the age change. Another change that was very significant was that married women that are pregnant, women with children can also compete. Do you have the same thoughts about the why behind it? Well, what are your thoughts about that?
I think that is so overdue. I mean, no disrespect, but my friends who are not in the pageantry, if they were talking to pageant ladies and they say, so why don't you think, a married woman could be Miss USA? The response is always something like, oh, she's really busy and she has a lot of responsibility. And you know what my friends say? I don't mean to be disrespectful, but the vice president of the United States, who may one day have her finger on an atomic bomb, is married. So she can handle the responsibility.
She can handle it. Absolutely. Yes. I love that. I love that take that you just had.
100%. Yeah. Honestly, and anyway, what better leader? What better communicator? what better a person who can multitask, take care of so many things than a mother and a wife? She's used to doing, and I know people say, but what about her child? Ladies, again, maybe my mother is going to come and stay in the household with my husband. Maybe my husband can change his job from
Yeah,
banking in New York to banking in LA, and he moves
exactly.
down the street. And
Yeah.
it's not like you're a prisoner when you're Miss USA. You
Right.
get to go out.
Or when you were married with children, you know, you have soldiers in the that's defending our country
Yeah,
that are married with children that are fighting wars, and or Fortune 500 company businesswomen who are traveling 10, 15 days out of the week, you know, to handle her business. So I think it's definitely the reasons that I've also heard as to why people are against it just doesn't really hold water. But I'm interested to see how the change continues on in the future, and to see just how things change. We did have a mom that was in the top at Miss Universe, and she was stunningly beautiful. She was one of my favorites in my little notebook I was writing down, and she was one of my favorites. So it does, I think we are taking a step in the right direction. So I'm really, really excited about where we are. So let's switch gears, still staying on the topic of Miss Universe, but let's say Universe and USA and other systems as well, right? In terms of what we call in the country world, we call it the sass factor, right? And then in the state world, if you're competing at the state level, it's the front runner, the girl who, you know, she's competed before. She was first runner up 2 years in a row. What are your thoughts when people label or come out the gate saying they're sass factor countries or front runners, and other girls don't stand a chance because of these sass factors? You think there's such a thing as a sass factor country?
is there a girl that doesn't stand a chance? Never.
That's right.
Last year we had Laos. I
Yeah.
trained, I trained her. She was incredible. What
Mhm.
I always ask is, I don't know why people think the organization cares about a country. The fans are not going to stop watching. I mean, I hate to be rude, but the fans are,
Facts. Yeah.
imagine, would someone watching the Olympics not watch when USA doesn't win something? Do they not
Right.
watch the Olympics the next time it's on? No, of course they do. And there are girls who are forerunners, but do you know why? They come to Universe ready to fight.
Ready.
They have social graces, wine glass, water glass, their posture.
Say it
Every
again.
every outfit has the hair, the certain makeup, the accessories. When they walk in the room by the third day, other girls are saying, wonder what she got on today. I mean,
Yeah,
yesterday. Oh my God. I mean, if you
absolutely.
look at her, you don't think other people would find her interesting?
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
there are those, but it has nothing to do with their country. Their country might take pageants seriously.
Hmm.
If their country, their director, their sponsors are such, like countries like Venezuela, they really, those girls, to train
Yeah.
they go through. But I have girls going to state at USA who really think they can come to me maybe 4 hours the month before they're going to
Before.
USA, and that'll be enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, there are countries that all eyes are on them, but USA as well. USA, the states that have fashion forward models, dancers, those people are used to
Hmm.
being on stage. So
Hmm.
those are some of those.
Yeah.
So yes, but are there countries that they won't win or they don't care about? Heck no.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
which
I
would be better?
I
Which would
agree.
be the country? The same girl winning every time, or different girls? No, which would be
Yeah.
better? Of course, it would be better if different girls
Mhm.
win. They don't say, let's always let this one or this one win. No.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I think it is a misconception. I've heard from young ladies who they've won their pageants, and, people are right away saying, "Oh, I knew she was going to win because she coaches with Luciera," or "I knew she was going to win because she shot her headshots with Fadil." And and sometimes it's very hurtful to those. And you're like, I worked hard. Like they'll say, "Nick, I worked so hard. I've worked really hard. I trained hard, and I came back with a purpose and knowing." And it's very hurtful when someone discredits it because they're saying
I
either I have a
I
sass
I
factor
think
or I had an in because of who my team was.
I think people who talk that way are making stuff up.
Absolutely.
Miss New York lives in New York. I didn't train with her. Miss New York lives in New York. I live in New York. Miss New York, USA. I wasn't part of her team, and she won New York.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
wasn't even at USA. So how
Mhm.
I forgive me. Ladies
Mhm.
look for excuses as to why they don't win, and it's
Say it.
always
Say it
me.
louder and one more time, please. Just say, do me that. Say it one more time, because I think we've gotten to a point where people are not facing the mirror and the excuses and the discrediting of other people. You have people who have this thing, whereas, oh, she won because. So please say that again, just in case it was
Yeah.
missed.
Absolutely. I think ladies try to look for reasons why they don't win, and they always want to deflect. They always want to blame. She won because of this and this and this. And God forbid it's because she good. Let's oh that she must have a lazy eye, fake teeth, lopsided breasts, but she worked with Lou and Fidel, so she won.
Yeah.
My question is, at USA, Fidel must have shot 30 girls, and I worked with 20. So, what does that mean?
Yeah,
It,
which one of
it,
the 20 or the 30 gets in
it,
if that
it,
theory holds water?
and we get also if she wear a certain dress. But if the odds are stacked, if more people work with me than not, the chances are a girl I worked with is going to win.
Will, yeah.
Organization doesn't care you worked with me. The organization doesn't, like New York here doesn't care she worked with me. I worked with a lot of girls in the New York pageant. My girl didn't win. The one who
Yeah.
didn't work with me at all, she didn't win.
Yeah.
And a lot of people shoot with Fidel, and he's
Yeah.
good. And
He's
pictures,
good. And he's good. That part, and he's good. So let's switch gears even more so, because I'm loving where we're going here. I know we have lots of questions, but I'm really curious. What about the misconception where people have this thought of what they call state hoppers? They say women who, you live in California and you've competed in California, you couldn't win in California, so you decide to go because you have a vacation home in Florida and you're competing in Florida. What are your thoughts about people who are really against young ladies taking their talent where their talent is appreciated? What are your thoughts about that?
first of all, that's so far down on the totem pole. If I graduated Columbia Law School and I graduated and I did New York, and now I just landed a job in LA and I could do the LA pageant, I shouldn't do it because you got a misconception that I'm hopping or something. It started because girls were moving, and because there was an age thing, we would make a girl lose a year. Number two, how dare someone say I can't do a good job in whatever state I'm living in? How dare your thought of me is so small, because when I become Miss USA, I'm nobody's state. And
Correct.
my dream is to be
Okay.
Miss again. Your brain is so tiny that you're looking for things in other people. I don't even know why you would know a girl hopped. That's what blows my mind. My girls
Yeah,
don't study other girls. My girls
absolutely.
go there with this blinder on, and they would know if that chick went to 3 different states. You know why? It doesn't
You're
matter. She's the
focused.
same
Yeah,
chick. She the
yeah.
same chick that lost in another state. So
That's
why are you focusing? Thirdly, and we still haven't gotten to why you say girls do it. But thirdly, the boss made that rule. How dare you want to work for an organization that you question your boss? That's
oh,
not a
I
rule you
love
and
it.
I made.
Oh, I love that. Oh,
My boss,
wow.
the owner. And how dare you
Mhm.
question? That's why you not winning. Not because Leslie Ann went to 2 states, because your mindset is this tiny and it's staring and focused on somebody else while you tell your boss, I don't care what you say. That's why you not winning, my friend. It has nothing to
That's
do
right.
with Leslie Ann going to the States.
Oh my God. Lou, if you guys are just tuning in, I know I don't have to introduce her, but I want to again. I am speaking to the one and only Lou Sierra. She is dropping lots of nuggets, lots of insight into the pageant world and just the mindset. And I challenge you guys to really listen closely because she's really saying some things that a lot of us need to hear. And once again, Lou Sierra, I'm so excited to be chatting with you. So let's dive into some more all things Miss Universe. So I know you mentioned not all of your favorites made it in. What were some of the surprises? If you had to call out a surprise that was in the top 10, who were some of the surprises that you saw at Miss Universe?
Prizes. I really wouldn't. All of them were fabulous. I know there were a lot of comments wondering why certain people didn't make it. I can only tell you the judges are told if these 14 girls are great right now, go back to something at prelim. Go back farther. Was there something that made one
You want to
a
stand
little,
out.
a little bit?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And very often I hear ladies say, Lou, I think I did a great job. And I go, you did. And they go, well, why didn't I win? Somebody did better. It wasn't you did badly.
Simple. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't you badly. You may not have looked into the camera enough. There's some girls who didn't make top five, that if you go back to look at them in top 10, you will see they had a plan. They did a
Yeah.
pattern with their coach before they left home and did all these weird things and were not looking into the cameras they were supposed to be looking in. It was more look at me. And for your
Yeah.
viewing audience, those of you who don't know, on the final night, the judges are told to always stare down and they're looking into a teleprompter. So they see extreme close up. They're told not to look at the girl on stage. So when you see the girl doing all this stuff and coming out sideways and doing all of this, and another girl is looking into the cameras, what the
She's
judges
looking at the
see is one
judges.
girl ear, this sees this, and then sees the other girl like this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's really good insight to know because I don't think a lot of people realize that when you're having a pageant with a large production, there's certain key areas that will make you stand out with the judges.
You're
If you're not
told
following instructions, you can be really, really good. But if you are not following instructions, or let me revise, or you are following the instructions of the folks who helped you get here. And when you got here, the people that matter, your producers, your stage folks, your choreographer, you're not listening to those folks. You're still
mm-hmm.
listening to what you heard before you got here. That's where you're going to stay, where you were. You're not going to bubble up. So I definitely think that that's really, really good. Nicaragua, I thought was a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved her. I loved there was something bubbly about her. And it's interesting because as I was watching Universe and I watched the swimsuit competition, I watched, when you had your top 20, there were literally, and I wrote it down in my little book, there were some women that came out that gate different than when they competed in prelims. It was like they were fighting to get to that 5. They were fighting to get to bubble up. Is there such thing as a girl getting better as she performs in a pageant that has a preliminary night and a finals night, or is it that she just is what we're seeing is consistency, that she was just consistently rising to the occasion? What are your thoughts on that?
It can be both.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, again, everybody's different. There are girls, my first Miss USA, Rachel, when she made the top 15 and she was standing in line, I looked and went, who are you? Never mind. I don't know who you are, but you stay here. And once you win, we want the other Rachel back. And she looked at me and said, I got it, Luke. I could win. Kept saying, what do you think? And I said, you could win, but you're not hungry. You're not a fighter. But that, when I saw her in line in the top 15, that was not the same person. Some people are consistent. They fight from the beginning. But let me just say, I don't think we see the same thing in prelim and finals. Again, in prelim, they're told to look at judges. They're on a stage with no furniture. The audience is smaller. It's not the same as the final night. So it can be both consistency, and now that I've made it, I have a new level of confidence. Something clicked that, oh, I could win this.
I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. So, as we're talking Universe, and once again, guys, my name is Nick Blaze with Beauty Queens Galore, the pageant resource, and I'm speaking to the incredible Miss Lou Sierra. Lou, what were your thoughts? You've worked with the organization for a very long time. You've built relationships with lots of people, and one of the biggest faces in the Universe organization was Paula Shugard. What was your thoughts when you heard Paula announce that she was resigning?
It didn't come as a total surprise. Paula, I think, and I could be incorrect, is the last one almost of the original when I started. Esther was more of a shock to me than Paula. Esther not being there, and it was just before it was the attorney, the production. Rachel, one of the most incredible women in the entire world, was a full-time production person. And when we got new owners, they can take away. And we have new owners, and they can take away. And when we have new owners, if they have someone, the best example, the attorney for Universe was one of the most kindest women. I'm just smart and funny. But when IMG bought Universe, they had their own attorney.
Right.
They didn't think they needed to keep a full-time attorney. They let go of the production person because they do lots of productions and didn't see the need to keep. So owners can do that. So it wasn't a terribly big surprise to me that Paula had decided, that she wanted to do other things. I'm very excited to see where her future goes. She's in my prayers.
Yeah, same, definitely same. As someone who I grew up watching pageants, I don't want to date myself, but I remember watching pageants and the scores would pop up on the screen. Do you remember the scores popping up on the screen for those of us in TV land of what the title holder or delegate scored in that round? What are your thoughts about bringing the scores back for transparency?
I would never suggest.
Why? Tell me why.
Ever suggest that. And I have no idea why anybody would want to see that. What does it change at the end of the day? Well, I mean, honestly, they can't go back and redo the pageant. But let me tell you what it does do. What if there is an undercover racist or an undercover, I don't know, somebody who just doesn't believe in
bigot.
love? Yeah. That reflects on the owner for choosing them to judge. But how would an owner know? How would an owner know? You're going to be blaming the owner for the judges.
Absolutely.
And there is no way they can know every single thing about. This is a true story. I was at the airport with a judge once. And I'm curious. I'm like, why do you think the girl with the red hair, you know, the one who made 15, why do you think she should do better? Do you know what the judge said to me? Lou, I could barely look at her. So much like my husband's new wife. I couldn't stand it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Now, I'm telling you, she thinks she did a fair job. But with that little something, something in your heart, how could you come across with a clean slate 100?
Absolutely.
You can't, but I will also say, I don't believe it's fixed. And I can testify when I was there. I can't testify now, but I can testify when I was there. It was not fixed. So if I know it's not fixed, that the owner is not doing something shady, why would I blame the owner on a judge unless we can change the outcome? And if we can't change the outcome, all it's going to do is tarnish the organization. I could never truly know if somebody's homophobic. They're not. That's not the kind of thing. Not allowed to.
And it does. The face is the owner of that organization. They will get the blame, regardless of whether they knew.
They hired the judge.
Yeah, they hired the judge. Yeah. Yeah, but you know, and I think people, you know, we have to realize, you know, we hire judges, and most of the time is we look at the body of work they've done, we look at their resume, and whether they align with what we're looking for. But most people I should say, most people aren't screaming their negative stuff that they embody loud and proud on social media. Most people, so I can see where directors and owners, you bring on judges and you may not necessarily know the underlining things based on their resume.
But I want to make it clear, I don't think they have judges that align with what they're thinking. If it's on TV, they have a celebrity judge. What? Align. Celebrity.
Absolutely.
They don't interview Oprah and Vivica Fox I think they do it for star factor on TV. So
absolutely.
A girl, you're a strict vegetarian. I mean strict. You think killing an animal is murder, and she talks about having a pig farm where they slaughter pigs all day. You like her. Your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's dive into some of the things about Miss Universe. Who would you say, if you can think of the top of your head, who in your mind was best in swim and who was best in gown for you?
Oh, there was a best. But I got to tell you the truth. I don't ever think there's a best. I think that's ridiculous. I just think it's crazy. There was no best.
It's hard. And it's really hard.
There was no best, guys. There wasn't. Your opinion is your opinion. You can say she was the best because she moved her hips more, but I don't like a whole lot of hip movement because I come from New York Fashion Week. You can say she was too sexy with her face. I love sexy in a face. So you cannot say the best when it's 7 judges who don't agree. You
So amazing.
can't. That's why when people get into these battles, I sit back because you and I can be looking at the same thing and disagree. And guess what? We're both right. She was the
Yeah.
best in my brain, and she was the best in yours. I am telling you, that evening gown competition was incredible.
Cool. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I
The
agree.
dress, the wall.
I agree. Just beautiful. It really was beautiful. You got a chance to see. I love the fact that there is lots of opportunities for dresses and girls using their unique style, some using local designers from their country. What are your thoughts and how do you feel about some pageants allowing changing of the dresses, some not allowing changing of the dresses? Do you think that it's a big deal if girls are allowed to change their dress?
I got to be honest, I have no idea still, and neither do my top model friends who are models. It's one of the two questions I get the most. I have no idea why a girl would change her dress. It still escapes me.
Yeah,
And I've never met a girl that loved both dresses equally.
I
I
agree.
think that prelim should be a dress rehearsal full out for final night. And if the dress was
Absolutely.
good enough to get me in the finals, why would I take a chance? Because my heart is still going with a Miss USA who I
Yeah.
won't mention, who won her state in flow, won Miss USA in flowy, and a prelim at Universe had on flowy, and then final night decided to wear this thing that was like a robot dress. And when I questioned her, she said, people said I should change it up. If you have a
Not
winning
if it
program,
works. Not if it works. It's a winning
why are
formula.
you changing? So if you want to change it, I'll help. Two dresses don't walk the
Yeah.
same. They don't turn the same. And let me say the most important thing. On the final night, they do a dress rehearsal, but they do it like the real show. So only 10 girls are going to walk the pattern. So now you have on a dress that you've never walked downstairs in. You've never done a turn on that floor in, and you're not in the fake 10 in the dress rehearsal. So you don't know what that dress can do and can't do. Why would
Absolutely.
you do that to yourself? Why, I get girls that the thing I hear is, I want to be a surprise to the other girl. Because judge doesn't score you higher because it's a new dress. They
Yeah.
don't. So it's
Yeah.
very
I
confusing
agree.
to me. I mean, if a
You don't
girl
have to
wants to,
convince me. I am
if,
I am I am of that mindset as well. And I've
if
said
you
it a
want
lot
to,
of times.
more
Yeah.
than welcome. But you know what? I want to be sure there are two things because I know the time is running. Um,
Yeah.
Please, ladies, remember I have an app called Modelversity. It's a one-time fee and it doesn't have videos. I'm not going to show you videos on how to turn for $5, but it does have loads of information on it. Number two, I take appointments in New York all year, 7 days a week. And I work with every system. I don't work with just USA and Universe. I am so proud of the amount of Miss America. The new owner of Miss America has endorsed me. So I have so many Miss America ladies who will be competing in January, title holders. So I work with all pageant systems, all ages. I wanted to get that out before our time was up.
Yes. No, no, no. I'm so happy you did say, we have a lot of people in the chat asking about you and are you still taking bookings. So please guys, definitely download Lou's app. You are incredible. You are incredible. One thing I love about you is your authenticity and the way you express yourself and you share your insight without it never comes across harsh. It always comes across authentic and the truth
Well,
without coming across harsh.
Some ladies call it harsh, but I'm all right with that.
I don't think so. But then again, I'm biased. So let me I'm biased. But one other question about Universe is I know a lot of people talked about the staging, that the stage made the girls look smaller. And made them look, because it was so dark. What were your thoughts? What do you think about the staging and the lighting? Did you think it made girls look more shorter or smaller? What are your thoughts on that?
The judges are the only people that are scoring the girls, and the girls are in front of them. The judges are not zooming in. Therefore, it does not matter. What we see on TV may not always be 100% in a production's control. If a light blows, if a camera lens is softer, what we see, we are not judges, but they are right there in front of them. So to the judges, they didn't look smaller. They didn't look
Yeah.
short. The judges saw the real McCoys.
Yeah, I love that. And that's so spot on. And as we talk about height, there is lots of debate that's going around right now. Ooh, lots of debate going on right now. And the biggest debate is about shoes and tippy tops or the over platform. And most of the shorter girls are like, I need the over platforms because my gown's not going to fit the way it's supposed to. I'm not going to look a certain way. What are your thoughts about people who are really against the over platform shoes and it being a disadvantage to the shorter girls?
Let me first say, no one cares about your height. And if you do, you're not winning based on your height. You're not winning because you got issues. I still get why girls think if they have issues, we should allow them to go and help girls who have issues. Why would I ever let you talk to my daughter when you don't think you were born perfect? When you don't think you're perfect just the way you are? Why would I
I love
let you
that.
talk to my daughter who got issues? What are you going to tell her? Her issues are not real, but yours are? Next,
Mhm.
it's entirely to the discretion of the pageant when it comes to a runway sponsor shoe. That's the shoe sponsor, and the pageant, again, you're telling your boss, I don't like the way you're doing your job, but then you're wondering why you don't win. They're not looking for the tall person, guys, because she doesn't have to do New York fashion. I can give you example time after time after time, but people have made up in their brain that if
Yeah,
I'm not
like you said.
tall, I'm not going to win. And it
Yeah.
saddens me no end. I will tell you a true story. I judged a pageant, and I have never seen a shoe, never saw a shoe like that in my life or since. I'm not lying. It was like this, like she was standing on her toe, and it was clear plastic. And when clear, like a hard acrylic. When she
Mhm.
came out in swimsuit, all the judges hit each other under the table with our feet, and all we could do was stare at her shoe. If she walked in front of me 1 week later, I would know it was her because all I could do was stare at her shoe.
Yeah.
And all of us thought the same thing. Poor
Mhm.
girl, she thinks she's too short.
Yeah.
And I have
Yeah.
no idea what I think we would let her go and work with girls with issues over another girl who didn't openly have an issue. Maybe she did, but we don't know. This one
Mhm.
is saying, I love myself just the way I am.
Yeah, yeah,
It's,
absolutely.
I'm too short. I don't want to stand next to tall people in photographs. I have to be in the front. I should be, but
Yeah,
it should be our win. And most,
absolutely.
do you really think you're going to wear that shoe everywhere? What's going to happen when you're on Smile Train in the rainforest with people with cleft palates? Yeah, you're going to have work boots.
Yeah.
What do you think
Uh,
you're going to do at the race for autism when you're handing out bottles of water? Do you
they'll
think
see
you're
your height then. Yeah, absolutely.
like that?
Absolutely.
And then you're not going to want to take pictures with girls who might have showed up with heels. That those kind of issues rear their head throughout your reign. Why we would give a girl that? The girls go, yeah, Lou, but I've done my homework. More tall girls win. Absolutely. Because more short girls think they're not going to win.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, as we're closing out, we're going to play a round of this or that with Miss Luciera. Once again, my name is Nick Blaze, and I am so honored to be introducing, but more or less having a chat, having a great conversation with the one and the only Luciera. One last question that came through in the chat before we go into this or that and close this out is, do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share about what's going on in the media right now with the Miss Universe organization?
Oh my God, there's so much going on. That could mean so many directors leaving on a USA level and a universe level. Um, I just, I think we're in a waiting pattern because I think the owner of Universe, this was her first Universe, even though she came and made a speech at last year's, this was her first. Layla, the new director for USA, it had already started in movement when she took it over. So I just think it's a big wait and see kind of patterns. We're all keeping our fingers crossed. We all hope the best. We hope sponsors are still there. But it's a wait and see.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And we're going to close it out with the most fun part of this interview, which is
Okay.
called This or That. I think you
Okay.
remember the last time we chatted about this.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. We've added some new things, so it's not going to be repetitive as before. So are you always early or always late?
I am always early. I have some friends in this room right now. They all cracked up. I don't mean a little bit early. I'm always ridiculously early to everything. Yeah.
I love that. Adventure or comfort?
Oh, you broke up. I didn't hear that
Oh,
question.
sorry. Adventure or comfort?
Oh.
That's a good one.
I'm going to say adventure because my comfort is your adventure. I traveled the world. I'll get on a plane and never been anywhere and don't know a soul there and work. And I went and said, I woke up one morning and said, I'm going to go live in Rome for 3 months. Didn't know anybody.
I would
Just
love that.
my friend,
I love that.
I have Disneyland faith that I just
I,
have that. Said, Lou, you really have Disneyland faith that it's coming.
I absolutely love that. Now, would you consider yourself an early bird or a night owl?
Oh, early bird. My assistant too easy. I am such an early bird. That's because she is a night owl. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
early.
a night owl. I wake up very early, but I go to bed very late. So I am definitely a night owl.
I'm up at
I get
4.
most of my work done.
No, I'm up at 4. I pray with someone at 4:30. Then I walk out to the gym at 5. Then I'm back in here to talk to my mom about 5:45. Then I watch 2 ministers on TV, Joyce Myers and Dr. David Jeremiah, which I love. And then I begin work at 6 and I work 6 to 6.
Nice, nice. Would you say store bought or homemade?
Hmm. I do both. I really, because I'm kind of a what do you call it? I refurbish a
Yeah, I would
lot.
say, are you like, if you'll make homemade, but if you have to buy something, do you still doctor it up to make sure that it's exactly
Yes,
what you need? Yeah,
yes. No,
I can
I
see
do a
that.
lot
I can
for
definitely,
yeah, I
I
do
can
a lot.
definitely see that.
My desk is an old headboard from a bed. My curtains are tablecloths. In
Yeah.
my bedroom, they're crochet tablecloths. The curtains downstairs are Indian saris that I went
Oh,
with a wrap the Indian
yeah.
sari, and I bought the exact amount and put it over Rod. So I bought it,
Love,
but it's not a normal.
yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Would you rather owe money or owe someone a favor?
Oh, I don't. Neither.
She's like,
No. Oh,
not wanted to know. All right, an easier question: coffee or tea?
oh, coffee and jet black.
With
Jet black.
sugar? With
Only
sugar?
one. Nope.
Only one sugar.
Nope.
All right. Would you rather be embarrassed or be afraid?
Oh, uh, I'm lacking the gene of embarrassment. I don't. I do things, but I'm never afraid. Yeah. Yeah. I don't care. Matter of fact, that's one of my favorite sayings. Watch this. Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care.
One of my
I love it. I
I
love it. I love it. Would you consider the city or the countryside?
oh city.
City life, New York, New
For now.
York. Road trip or plane? Would you go on a road trip or a plane?
Oh, plane. Don't play
I'm
with
about to
me.
say I can't see you taking a
I mean,
13-hour drive.
but the whole time
Yeah.
I'm like, are we there yet? Are we
Are we
there
there
yet?
yet?
6 feet. I'm 6 feet tall. There don't make too many
Yeah.
cars unless I'm laid back. Then I'm sleep, so I'm no fun.
Yeah, yeah. Would you do East Coast or West Coast?
Oh, don't get West Coast don't like me, baby. I'm too real.
East Coast it is.
Uh-uh.
Are you more of a shower or a teller?
Hmm. Shower.
Shower. I think I suspected that. Knowledge or imagination?
Ooh. Ooh, it gotta be both.
Yeah.
It got you can't be smart without an imagination. If you are living in a block wall, you're not, yeah. And to have an imagination is smart because that means you're thinking outside the box. No, it has to be.
And my last one is, are you someone who you like to test the waters or you dive in the deep
Ooh, that's a good one.
end?
I think both, but if I had to choose one, I say I dive in. I think
I love it.
if I have to choose one, because I'd rather apologize than ask permission.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, guys, there we have it. We ended
Wait,
at
wait,
7 o'clock
wait,
on the dot. Yes,
before we
go ahead. Mhm.
please, if you'd like to work with me, reach out on social media or contact me through my company website, Aloop, ALUP International. And Aloop is easy to remember. It stands for A Loop Production. ALUP, www.aloopinternational.com. And I work with everyone, or reach me through Facebook or Instagram.
And please share information about the app again before we close as well.
It's called Modelversity. It's a one-time fee, $4.95. It's on Android and iPhone. Does not have information. It has the name of turns. It has all my interview technique. It talks about wardrobe and things of that nature. One-time fee.
I love it. I love it. Once again, guys, my name is Nick Blaze, and I am here with Beauty Queens Galore, the pageant resource. And I've had the pleasure of speaking with the one, the only, the icon, Lou Sierra. Lou, thank you so much for joining us. And everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being interactive. I know this will probably not be our last conversation. We always know that we're going to get back together again. I look forward to seeing you again in person. Hopefully I'll be seeing you at Ideal Miss or one of the other pageants. We always bump into each other, but it was such a pleasure, Lou. You are charming, you are authentic, and you're exactly the breath of fresh air that pageantry needs. So thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye. Bye, Lou. Mwah.